Hi, this is Rafael Soloceno from Baja Legal Advice. Those that have read my articles, some of them or most of them, as I don't believe that there's one that has read all of them, because there's better than 4,000 articles I have written over the past 8-9 years. And what is it that I write about? Those that know me know that I'm a specialist and I'm an attorney at law. I'm 68 years old. I live in Tijuana. I lived in Cabo 6 months last year, February to August. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. People expected a trial attorney. I don't practice litigation. Never have, never will. I did cut my teeth in court like any other attorney, but it was not for me. I don't like to deal with corruption or bribes and all that. So I focus on something that I feel a passion for. Initially, it was environmental law, and in representing Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies, I also found that that was not for me. I would not lie for a client, regardless of how powerful and how much my hourly rate was. So I decided to do something that actually pleased me, and that is to deal with expats from the world over buying property in Mexico. So I write about property in Mexico, about real estate transactions, and particularly about fideicomisos. And if you don't know what a fideicomiso is, it's a contract which a party, normally in the case of real estate trust, a fideicomiso is actually from Latin fideicomisum. Fideas means trust. So it's the fideicomisum, Latin word from Roman times, because the trust is actually from Roman times. It's not recent. So in the case of real estate trusts and fideicomisos, you should know that, well, there's so many issues in creating a brand new trust, or assigning or buying an existing trust from someone else, in canceling a trust, in updating a trust for the death of someone, one of the parties, or adding someone who's a beneficiary, or a couple divorces and one settles with the other party and one happens to receive the other half, etc. There's so many topics that we could dwell on, but in this case I would like to focus on for sale by owner. I know that some real estate agents are bound to feel uncomfortable with the topic for sale by owner. And yes, there's some benefits that you have in a for sale by owner option, and some drawbacks, like not having MLS listings, and MLS is only accessible by real estate agents, by brokers, not by someone like me. I'm a real estate trust attorney, okay, but I'm a transactionalist. So what is it that I do? When I represent a seller, and I probably, with two exceptions along my long career, I always represent one party only, be the seller, be the buyer. But in the case of for sale by owner, what do I do for the seller? I obviously provide consulting to evaluate the circumstances of the sellers. Where's the property? Do you own the property? Is the property in a active trust? Are you current with your trustees, with your property taxes, with your HOA fees? Are you a co-owner? Do you have the consent of the co-owner? Have you given right of first refusal to the co-owner? Or are you just a husband and wife that you want to sell the property? So people ask, can you help in helping us sell the property? Well, I cannot find you a buyer, but if you have a buyer, I can help you negotiate. How? I take care of the offer to sell or the offer to purchase if I represent the buyer. I help negotiate the terms and conditions. So I draft an offer to purchase or an offer to sell. And by the way, look, the article that I loaded up the other day with the terms of a property written, offer to purchase or offer to sell. So I help in the offer. Once the offer is accepted, counter offer, or whatever, but eventually agreed, I draft the purchase agreement. I then contact the escrow company. I link up with the bank, with the notary, with the buyer's attorney, closer, whoever, the agent. So we already have the offer to purchase, we have the purchase agreement, we have the escrow agreement, and the agreed down payment goes into escrow. What happens after? I write a letter of instructions to the bank on behalf of the seller, and I submit all the paperwork. The Fideicomiso, a copy of the Fideicomiso, copies of the IDs, the visas, passports, proof of address, etc. Keep in mind that in a transaction, the buyer covers most of all of the costs and expenses and taxes. The seller is only obligated to pay capital gains tax if he's not applying and claiming an exemption on capital gains tax. They had to pay their own homeowners association, keep it current, get a receipt from the HOA, pay their property taxes, and that's pretty much about it. As long as you're current with your obligations, the most significant expense would be your capital gains tax if you don't qualify for an exemption. But guess what? I provide assistance for a buyer, for a seller to get qualified for capital gains exemption. What does it normally require? First and foremost, you have to be the owner of the property. This applies for Mexicans and non-Mexicans, for owners fee simple or fideicomisos, okay? And it only applies for residential sales. It doesn't apply for a lot or raw land. It has to have a house. So let's consider that it's a condo, okay? So you're selling a condominium, so you have proof of the fideicomiso and his husband and wife, okay? So you had to provide official identification such as your passport, and sometimes, or most of the time, the notario asks that you provide a copy of your marriage certificate. Usually it has to be apostilled, okay, and translated to Spanish. What is next? If you wish to claim an exemption on the capital gains tax, which is today $318,000, if you have not sold your main residence over the past 3 years, today you qualify for a capital gains tax exemption on the profit up to $318,000. Okay, so if you bought the property, say, for $300,000, and you're selling it for $500,000, and you are making $200,000 profit, fine. You would be taxed 35%, 35% would be your capital gains tax on the profit. But guess what? As I said before, if you own the property, if you have legal status, if you have a tax ID number from Mexico, if you have utility bills linking you to that address, which is in the fideicomiso for that house, and it has, and they printed, the CFE printed your RFC or your tax ID number, you qualify for a capital gains tax exemption of $318,000. There's additional information that we have to check, and again, every notario is different. You have to shop around for a notario. So if you're doing this solo, or if you're doing it, or you're selling through a broker, an agent, whoever, make sure that before you put the property on the market, you get a written confirmation from a notary public confirming if you qualify or not for a capital gains tax exemption. I have often stumbled upon people who are selling property, and they've been told that they qualify for an exemption. Attorneys, okay, attorneys. Well, I'm a specialist because I'm not the brightest person on the world. I just know a few things, but those that I know, I have full control of. I have full domain of that. I'm a master of my craft, but not on everything, only on a few things. And that happens to be fideicomisos. And when it comes to capital gains tax exemptions, it's before, the first thing you have to do is get a written confirmation from notary public that has reviewed your case and your fideicomiso and your status and your tax status to make sure that you have the legal status for residential purpose and that you have the legal status for tax purposes, okay? And that the house that you're selling is your main residence. I know a lot of people that own a number of properties, okay? But guess what? When you're to sell a property and you meet all those conditions that I mentioned a few minutes ago, but your reported address for tax purpose happens to be a different one from the address that you're selling, you will not get the exemption. The claim will go nowhere because you have a tax address which is different from the property that you're selling. See, everything has to coincide. It has to coincide, because if you have more than one property, well, what property you're selling, you would have to update your tax ID information to match that address before you put it on sale. That is only a problem if you have more than one property. So again, I say you have to shop around with notaries, because some notarios in Cabo San Lucas, you go to one of the 30-some notarios and you pretty much get a different perspective on a number of things. One of those happens to be that when they discuss legal status, they are actually talking about permanent residence. You do not have to have permanent residence in order to claim an exemption. But if you ask to this notario or you ask the other notario, they may have a different perspective, okay? And I know that because I have it in writing. Some of them say, oh, it's not just that you have to have a permanent residence, you have to have been a taxpayer and you have to have annual tax reports going this number of years. There's nothing in the law, okay? Nothing in the regulations for income tax law, federal, that says that you have to have permanent residence. It doesn't say that you have to have been a taxpayer for X number of years. It only says that the homeowner who is selling their main residence, which has not claimed an exemption on the sale of a house over the past 3 years, may qualify to get 700,000 UDIs, okay? And then you go to the regulations of the federal income tax law to find additional definition, such as the proof of address, that you have to have not just the tax ID with your address for that one property you're selling, but you also have to have a printed RFC, your tax ID number, and your CFE bill. And if you live off grid, you have to have at least a bank statement which has to have your address and print your RFC. Okay, so that's one thing. Other notarios are much lighter in the sense of how they interpret the law. And so the notarios that I work with, that I retain to help my sellers, are basically established, legal status established by temporary resident visa, a permanent resident visa, or naturalized individual, okay, or a Mexican. So either one. No, some other notarios, and I will not name them, but they're in Cabo San Lucas, they establish their criteria, and if you don't meet that criteria, and then you find out at closing, you will lose a huge chunk of money, a whole bunch of money. Imagine you looking to be exempted $318,000, and eventually, instead of saving a dime, you're burdened by 35% of your profit only because of being unprepared, because you trusted your closer, your attorney, your broker, your real estate agent. Not all of them are on top of these issues. I am. So confidence is such a, trust is like playing frisbee with a buzz saw. It could chop off your fingers. You don't want to lose anything. You have to get someone who's on top of this. This is all I do. So, despite those listening to this and saying, "Oh, Rafael's already created enough issues," well, you have to have a choice. You can hire a real estate agent, okay, and pay what, 8% commission on the sale, or you can hire me for sale by owner and save 8% on the commission. Why? Because I only charge you for my legal fees to take care of providing the advice that you need to sell, to contact the bank to transfer the property. The buyer has to have its own closer, its own counselor, or its own broker, whoever, to take care of their other end and meet up with me in order for them to be transferred the property. So they have to pay all the fees, all the costs, all the expenses, an appraisal, no lien certificates, no debt certificates, the notary fees, the property acquisition tax, and a whole bunch. You, the buyer, are only paying capital gains tax unless you claim the exemption that I've been discussing. I could go on and on, but I meant to have this be a short video, but for starters, I made it longer than I wanted, but those in the future will be shorter. I just want to, create a spark, create the attention on topics that matter to you. So don't take anything for granted. Get it in writing. There's some top excellent brokers in town. The fact that they're successful doesn't mean that they're actually excellent at what they do. A lot of them don't care for fiduciary duty. A lot of them don't provide full disclosure. They don't care. They block you out completely from the seller or the buyer, depending on who you are. Okay, and I know that's how they work. I had a terrible issue in a closing, and the whole process in buying a property for my client. This client bought a condo in San Jose, and the seller, and particularly the agent, and she knows who she is. Okay, she did not provide full disclosure. One would say, what was the matter that created these issues? Well, for one, they have a pool on the top floor, and this has issues and repair issues, and it leaks, and it creates a mess. It costs money to all the owners of the building to repair and keep it up. They pay insurance. It's a very expensive insurance for the whole building. There's a number of costs and expenses and special assessments that she did not disclose. She maliciously withheld that information, and she kept saying, "This is not the way we do things here." Well, guess what? There's a new sheriff in town. Pay me a little more, only because I speak the truth. Well, that's what people want this bulldog to work for you, not for someone else. I don't make money. I earn my money, and I'll see it till until the day I die. I was born to do this. I don't cheat people. I don't scam people. I don't lie to people. I put everything in writing. And if you want someone like me to help you, I'm here for you. Okay? That's as complicated as it gets. So I'll be, thank you for those that actually spend the time to be part of this video. It will be accessible, I hope, for good. If not, I'll be posting short videos, which will be just, I hope to get to 2 minutes. That would be quite a challenge. But if not, the idea is that and being totally blunt about what I do and how I feel about it. I've been doing this for a long time, And I still feel that I have a short voice. I want to have a larger voice, a bigger voice, a booming voice for people to question themselves. I don't toot my horn, not without providing the evidence. Okay, so if you're gonna challenge me for blowing my horn and there is simply a line, put me to a test, challenge me. It's not the purpose. But again, as I spoke about that lady real estate agent, and if my client ever sees this, watches this video, she knows who she is, and the agent knows who she is, and she miserably, deliberately, maliciously withheld delicate information. Had my client been in the United States, she would have sued her, and she would have won and have been compensated. Since she's in Mexico, she's on a very unfortunate situation, to be lied to and to pay a lot of money that was not considered part of the deal, only because the agent wanted to close the deal and make her 8%. That is crummy. That is absolutely, it just turns my stomach. Don't allow that. Always take time to get advice. And I know if you talk to 5 different attorneys, you get 5 different impressions. I'm not just another attorney. I consider to be truthful. Again, you know where to find me. And if you have someone who wants to discuss a situation, I have a free 30-minute consultation, a one-time free 30-minute consultation. I invite everyone to call me and make an appointment, and we can talk by phone, WhatsApp. I know you choose the Zoom, you choose the method, and we can agree to meet 30 minutes. I don't include document review and in the consultation, but if retained, then we can discuss that. Again, look forward to be putting out this videos. Again, I was in Kabul, and I could not, I did not have any impact, a positive impact. I feel like I was put in a freezer. I was there and I was trying my best to go out and have people invite me for presentations and discussions, HOA meetings, and talk about Fideicomisos and whatever's in your mind that is within my practice. But I went about it probably the wrong way. I'm not bitter about it. It's a learning experience, a very costly one, 6 months of my life. And without seeing my family and all that, my children, and I did it for you. But again, I probably went about it the wrong way. So now I'm trying it in a different way. Videos and hopefully shorter in the future. This is pretty much an intro, okay? So again, those that don't see any value on this, apologies. Those that see value, call me. And if you know someone who needs my advice, again, it's a free 30-minute consultation. What's wrong with that? Okay? Thank you. Good evening. God bless.